I want to revisit this topic, the big bad wolf, and why is the 7 so scary? So our daily dose of DI today, again, is a revisit of a topic we talked about a little bit on a previous show, which is why do I call the 7 the big bad wolf? Why do we think that it's so scary? And what I want to do is actually head to the table. I want to show you some stuff with dice a little bit and really kind of dig into, again, some of the mechanics about it, but also what I'm doing to sort of solve the mechanics. Let me go ahead and switch screens here for you, and we'll take a look at that. All right, here we go. What I want to talk to you about with regards to the 7 being the big bad wolf, and here's my dice. Let's talk about the mechanics of it first, and I'll talk about what I'm doing actually to try and stave this off, and one of my theories here as I'm doing my practice run. So, as we know, the 7 is the easiest number to roll. It has 6 ways to roll versus 3 ways for the 4 and 10, 4 for the 5 and 9, and 6 for the 6, or 5 for the 6 and 8. And why is that? Well, the reason for that is not just that there's 6 combinations. It's that no matter what one of the die has, the other die always has the partner to make it a 7. If it's a 2, over here we've got a 5. If it's a 6, over here we got a 1. No matter what happens, these 2 dice can always combine to make a 7. But if one die is a 6, there's no way for me to roll a 4 or 5, right? It's not a guarantee with some of the other numbers like it is with the 7. And that's why it's a 1 in 6 chance. That's where that comes from. Whenever die number 1 stops, there's always a 1 in 6 shot that the second die matches. And that's where you can't escape that really. That's part of it's just the way the dice are manufactured. You can't get around that. It's the way that we roll them, and nothing you can do to stop it. Now, with that said, here's what I'm trying to do. And I want to walk you through a crazy theory here. And I was talking to my friend who is the math guy, who's doing all the analysis for me of my throws. So as you know, I'm doing 2 sets, actually 3 sets of 10,000 throws. One set we're doing is I'm logging every throw in the morning. As we do our rollouts of our strategies here, I'm always logging out the 10,000 rolls. At night, I'm doing a mechanical practice where I'm setting the dice a very specific way with the 1s on top, 6s of course on the bottom, like so, and I stack them. And I'm throwing them in this kind of stacked horizontal spin fashion, right? The spinner throw. I'm not sure what to call it yet, but it's kind of what I'm doing. Other folks throw the dice where it's more of a throw like this, or a throw where they're back spinning, okay? More of a horizontal or a vertical horizontal axis throw. I'm doing this. The reason why I throw it like this, and here's what I'm settling on, is this. These dice can land, if I throw them good, they can land in one of 4 ways, right? The 2 1s can stay up. That would be a great result because that means that I threw them, they spun, and they landed perfectly, and everything was fantastic, right? The other option is they could both spin over and become 6s. So I throw them so perfectly that they spin into the back wall, they land, and they roll over exactly twice each, and they're a 12. Also a great result because I know what's on top of both dice. I know what's on bottom of both dice. If I can get both my bottoms or both my tops to show, I'm golden, right? The other option, of course, is 1 stays on and 1 goes double. In our case, that'd be a 7. It'd be kind of a bad thing, right? But I can get a 7 like that or a 7 like that. Now, think about this. That's hard to do. It's about a 10.5 to 11%-ish chance that I get the 2 1s or the 2 6s. It's a pretty small chance that happens. Or for these dice to stay on any kind of a repeatable axis like that. So it's a 10% chance that I can keep both dice in control, quote unquote control, meaning I see 2 1s, 2 6s, or a 1 and a 6, or a 6 and a 1. I got about a 10% chance of that happening. The good news though is this. I can get them, I think, to a 35 or 40% chance or likelihood that I can get one of them to behave and one of them not to behave, okay? Let's say, for example, I can get the bottom die to be a 1 or a 6 40% of the time. And that's purely by controlling how fast they come off the back wall and how hard they roll off. If I can control that overspin, big giant if, right? And guarantee 40% of the time the bottom die is going to be a 1 or a 6. And the other one's not going to be a 1 or a 6. That's a guarantee it won't be a 7. If I have a 1 here and this is not a 1 or a 6, I guarantee these numbers cannot be a 7. So we hold off the 7 40% of the time by getting that bottom dice to behave. Similarly, if I can get the top dice to behave also 40% of the time, but not the bottom one, so either this one or this one is on a 1 or a 6, but the other one is not, that's 40% of the time I can avoid the 7 based on that. 40% of the time I can hide the 7 based on that. That's interesting stuff. Now, the danger zone, of course, is if they both do behave, I've got 2 7s out of 4 combinations. That's not great. If they both disbehave and they're both in here somewhere, right? Now I've got all the different combinations of 7s that the other sides can produce. So really what I'm after in this toss that I'm doing at night is trying to see how often I can keep one or the other perfect, either a 1 or a 6 showing, 1 or a 0, 2, or 4 overspins. That's what I'm looking for, just controlling the number of spins off the back wall. Can I do that? I don't know. We're going to find out. I'm logging 10,000 rolls to find out if this theory, this crazy theory of mine holds true, in which case I will not be afraid of the big bad wolf because I have a much higher percentage of time that I'm going to see one behave and one not behave. I guarantee myself of seeing no 7s. Whenever that happens, if this one behaves and this one doesn't, guaranteed it can't be a 7. That's kind of a powerful place to be. We can make that work. So that's the theory behind what I'm doing at night. So I wish you would join me. It's kind of like watching paint dry. I'm going to be honest with you. It's not the most exciting thing to watch me roll the dice every night 100 times. But I'm doing it anyway. I'm rolling the dice 100 times, like it or not, because I've got to get to 10,000 rolls. And I'm honest about it. I'm calling it out, man. If I screw it up, if it's ugly, I'm letting you know. It's a completely transparent test of 10,000 rolls with that set. What we hope to learn is that given that set, if we're seeing some activity with the dice that we like, we can then predict if I turn the dice a certain way, and throw the same style, we can achieve different results. We're going to find out. But anyway, the big bad wolf is not that scary if that theory holds true. I don't know that it's going to hold true. I'm like 800 rolls in, so we don't have enough data to support any of it yet. It's just going through my mind. I was talking to somebody today about it. I thought, I'm going to share that with you. This is kind of what I'm thinking. And again, I might be completely bonkers. This may be totally wrong. I don't know, right? But we're going to sure as hell put the time and effort in to find out because I think that I want to know the truth about it, or at least if I can get to a point where I can confidently say yes or no where we are, and you'll have somebody who's tracking it, transparently. I'm not trying to sell you anything. So that's the point there. So hopefully that makes a little bit of sense as to why I'm doing this crazy thing and why this whole series of dice control has re-kicked off and what I'm doing as part of it. So there's that. All right.